Hello, how are you children?
Yeah, it's Tata Lola again.
Tonight we're doing the last episode of our story Gatir Elnada, and I know I left you really sad last time, but I promise it is a happy end. So sit there, relax, and let's start our story. Where we are up to last time is Gatir Elnada now living in a palace, the palace that the genie gave her, which is next door to the Sultan's palace. And her balcony overlooked the window of the prince and his new wife. And she sits on the balcony watching every night and crying over her beloved prince. She doesn't know if it's the right time now to reveal the truth. She doesn't know if it's better for the prince to leave him alone, especially when she heard that special sound coming from the palace next door. And she knows that this sound means they are celebrating good news. She was wondering, what is the good news? Inside the Sultan's palace, everyone was happy, celebrating, saying the good news. Guess what? The prince is going to be a father. Yeah, the crown prince is coming. Everyone was happy, especially the prince's mother. Yes, finally, my dream came true. And the snob wife, who's now pregnant, and she thinks she has the right to be even more snob. Show off. She was very happy. She was rude to everyone. She doesn't care. One day, she was standing at her window. Remember that window? Between the two palaces? And she saw something. She saw the grapes. And she's craving the grapes because she's pregnant. And they used to look really nice and yummy. So she said to her husband, I'm craving grapes. And look at it. It's at the neighbor's house. It's full of it. It's not in the market because it's not season, but it's in the neighbor house. And her husband said, why can't I get it? You know, it's in the neighbor's, not ours. And she said, no, I don't care. You have to get it for me. I'm pregnant and I'm craving it. And if you don't, I'm going to be very upset. I'm going to be very nervous. I said, okay, calm down. I'll think of something. I can maybe send one of the servants. Yes, send them. What are you waiting for? The prince felt really bad and embarrassed. He's going to send one of the servants to go beg for a little bit of grapes for his mean wife. So he called one of the servants, and his name was Masroor. So the prince said, Masroor. Masroor said, yes, sir. I want you to go to the neighbor's house and ask them for some grapes for my pregnant craving woman. And he said, okay. So Masroor went, knocked on the door, and he heard a voice coming from inside saying, door open. And the door opened by itself. Masroor went, what? So he went inside and he heard the voice saying, chair. And a chair came. Yes, sit on a chair. So Masroor sat on the chair looking around him like, what, how? Gatir Elnada knew that if she saw Masroor will recognize her straight away. She used to live in the palace and Masroor used to serve her. So he knows her very well. He knows her. So she covered her face and she went inside the room
And she said, yes, what do you want? And Masrur said,
Madam, all I want is a little bit of your grapes for my master's wife. She's pregnant and she's craving the grapes.
So she answered him by saying, I am the one. My father gave birth to me, and the peacock and the eagle looked after me. And now the prince's wife is pregnant, and his craving will come on the top of me? No. Scissors, come ahead and cut his tongue so he doesn't tell on me. So the scissors came, pluck, and took his tongue away. Masrur, poor Masrur, and he ran all the way back to the palace. And the prince said, what's wrong, Masrur? What's that? What's happening? And he can't tell him. His wife wasn't happy. She said, okay, he's just a servant. Why are you busy getting him doctors and stuff? I'm still craving grapes. Send another servant and get me some more grapes. And the husband said, oh, what a wife. Okay, doctor, you look after Masrur. And where is Masoud now? Masoud! Masoud came, yes, sir. He said, I want you to go to the neighbor's house, be nice, and ask for a little bit of grapes for my wife because she's pregnant and she's craving grapes. So Masoud did. And the same thing that happened to Masrur happened to Masoud. She told him the whole thing. And she asked the scissors to come and cut his tongue so he doesn't tell on her. And the scissors did. So he went back to the palace the same like Masrur. He can't speak. And the prince said, okay, just tell me what happened. He was telling him, Gatir Elnada, I saw her. She was Gatir Elnada, I know her. But he can't say it because he has no tongue. Anyway, the wife got really crazy this time. Go by yourself and give me that grape. The stupid servant, they're all stupid. They cannot do anything right. And the prince said, okay. I'm going to go by myself. All right, just calm down. So the prince went to the next door palace, knocked on the door, and same thing happened. Door open, and the door opened. Chair, and the chair came. Guest sit down, he sat down. And then Gatir Elnada came. She wouldn't show him her face because she knows he will recognize her. And she is not sure if it's the right time. She left it all in the hands of God. If it's the right time, God will bring whatever best. So she stood with her face not facing the prince. And she said, what can I do to help you? And the prince said exactly the same thing, like Masrur and Masoud. I want a little bit of grapes for my pregnant wife. She's craving. And Gatir Elnada said the same thing that she told Masoud and Masrur. She said to him, I'm the one who was raised in the forest, and my father gave birth to me, and the peacock and the eagles looked after me. Now your wife is pregnant, and her craving will come on the top of me. Scissors! Shh! And the scissors came. Cut his scarf, because he is dear to me. Yeah. She is still in love with him. She asked the scissors to cut
his calf, not his tongue. She wouldn't let the scissors cut his tongue. And of course, the prince recognized her straight away. Gatir Elnada, you're still alive? You're still alive? She said, yes, I am. Your mom and your wife planned everything. They kicked me out of the palace. And that's what happened. I had to stay away. They lied to you. They told you that I was dead. And he said, what was in the grave? She said, they just killed the lamb and buried the lamb in the grave and told you it's my grave. But I wasn't dead. I was kicked out. So he pulled her by the hand, took her and ran back to the palace. Called his mom with anger. And his mom came crying. Forgive me, my dear son. I didn't mean it. I was thinking what's best for you. I don't know how I did that. It's not my fault. It's your wife's fault. She told me that this is the best. And the prince said, you owe her an apology. She said, I will do it. So she kissed her head. Yeah, the queen kissed Gatir Elnada's head and she asked her to forgive her. And Gatir Elnada is really sweet and kind. So she said, I forgive you. And who heard the noise? His wife. She was really furious. She came down from upstairs screaming, what is this woman doing in my palace? Kick her out! It's either me or her in this palace. And while she was really screaming and out of her mind, she stumbled over the step and she went down all the way to the last step. Everybody started screaming and the prince called the doctors who were taking care of the servants who cut their tongues. And the doctors came and they took her to the room. Everybody was standing outside the room worrying. And then the doctor came out and he said to the prince and his mom, I'm sorry, we couldn't save the baby. The baby's gone. That's Allah's will. Maybe that's Allah's way of punishing her. A couple of days later, when her health became better, she packed her bags and she said to the prince, I want a divorce. I can't live in this palace with that woman Gatir Elnada in it. I am a princess. My father is a king. And you want me to be equal with that woman? She was raised in the forest. She's just an animal. She took her bag and she left. The prince and Gatir Elnada and his sorry mother and his father lived happily ever after in that palace. They have one palace. They have two palaces now. The magic palace next door. So they sort of like put the two palaces together, connect them, and the sultan became the most famous sultan in the land because of that magical palace he had. And they all sat on the balcony celebrating and eating grapes in the middle of winter. Would you like some? Here you go, sweeties. That's the happy end I promised you. I hope you enjoyed the story and I'll see you again in another story. But for now, good night.